Well, good morning. Welcome to Thoughts Can Change Your Life with me, Reverend Lee. Today I want to talk about this idea that our individual consciousness creates our experience. I believe it does. It's the core of everything I teach. It's the core of what I believe. I've seen it demonstrate. But I think sometimes we forget that we're not alone, that we are surrounded by consciousness. And most of the consciousness we're surrounded by is the consciousness of about 7.8 billion other souls, 7 billion other people. And if you're surrounded by a consciousness, the consciousness that you're surrounded with it's penetrating you, right? And so you got to start to ask the question, can my individual consciousness be so strong that I can overcome the consciousness of the collective that's around me? And that's why the title for today is Who You Spend Time With Matters. Because I believe with my whole heart and soul that the groups that we associate with have a tremendous impact on our life experience and our creative power. And so you have a choice. You can look at the groups that are around you, that you surround yourself with, that you participate with, and ask the question, is this group about expansion, or is this group about contraction? So if you're around a group that's all about dividing people, about separating from people, about judging people, about contracting, about going backwards, about fear, then you might want to ask yourself, how is my association in that group helping me to expand, to create a more expansive life and experience? Because it's not. I'm just going to be very bold with you. So then you have a couple choices. The choices are, you find a group that is about expansion that you resonate with, or you start your own group. And you have to be really clear about what your purpose is, and you've got to become that purpose in order to attract the right people into the group. You see, that's what I'm creating with Agape. I'm creating a group of people that is worldwide and local here in North Texas that supports each other's expansion. We don't get caught up in the muck. We don't get caught up in all the BS that's going out there, but rather we focus on expanding our consciousnesses, and we expand our individually and then collectively as a group, then we have a greater impact on the consciousness of the world. But until we've shifted our own individual consciousness, we're not going to change the world. Don't even think that's possible. It's impossible. Now you're dealing in the ego. The ego thinks it can do things it can't. It's not about being right. It's not about being wrong. It's about being. Are you with a group that allows you to be safe? Are you with a group that allows you, that accepts you as you are? Are you with a group who supports you as you expand and create your dream life? Are you with a group that challenges you? That when you are not expanding and growing, that you're stuck in the muck? Are you in a group that asks you questions? Not beats you up, not says, what are you doing? It asks you questions about what could you do to expand your life? What next step? Not what big step, not what huge action can you take, But what is the next step you can take that might give you that feeling of expansion, of moving forward? It doesn't have to be big, but you want to surround yourself with like-minded individuals. I think that's more important than ever. That's why I do the work I do. Because number one, it feeds me. Number two, it feeds others. So it's not selfish. It's self-serving, and at the same time, it's serving others. I know with all the core of my being that no matter what is happening in the world, I thrive. I thrive because of my individual consciousness. I thrive because of the people I surround myself with. Now, I'm not trying to tell you in any way, shape, or form that everything is always smooth and easy for me. I am challenged just like everyone is challenged, but I move through the challenges. I don't get stuck in the challenges, and I think that's where a lot of people are today. A lot of people are stuck in what they perceive the challenges of life. Especially today with what we're experiencing now is record inflation, at least in the last 40 years. Don't focus on inflation. Focus on how are you going to be more abundant in your life? How are you going to expand your offerings into the world and attract more abundance into your life? That's where you want to focus. This is an expansive universe that you can have anything you want. But if you're thinking contraction instead of expansion, not a good thing. Now, I'm not trying to tell you not to be a good steward with what you have. I'm assuming that you're a good steward. And maybe that's a bad assumption on my part. It probably is. And maybe that's the first step. You've got to take inventory of what you've got in your life, financially, mentally, emotionally, relationship-wise. Take inventory and say, am I expanding? Is the inventory I have about expansion or contraction? Expansion is love, contraction is fear. Realize that. Nothing more important than you get that concept in mind. Love and fear, expansion, contraction. Remember, we weren't brought here onto this planet to be alone, to be isolated. We were brought here to connect. See, every human being we meet, that we interact with, should be a reminder we're all one. And we don't have to think alike and be alike and look alike to be one. On the ocean, there are infinite forms of waves, and they're all part of the ocean. There are infinite expressions of human beings, and we're all part of the one mind. We've got to stop our diversity. I hate that word. It's about inclusivity. It's about honoring uniqueness. It's about being with people who only see our highest potential, our highest good, our highest power. That's what life is about. So do an inventory of your life. If you want to connect more with people like myself in my community, today we have Agape gatherings. We have it at 1:30 Central Time, and we have it at 7 p.m. tonight. The Zoom links are at agapespiritualcenter.com. Corey, I'm doing my next values class this Saturday. It's going to be a small one, so it's a benefit for anyone who wants to know what are your top values. And if you've not done the values class, this is where I suggest everyone begin. Just go to agapespiritualcenter.com, click on the calendar. You'll find the event Saturday. I think it's at 10 o'clock Central Time. An hour and a half. An hour and a half. The best you can get from me is in that workshop. Well, almost, because I just created a workshop for couples, but it's an all-day guy. Anyway, my message is surround yourself with people who support you and look at you and see your ability to expand. I know I do. So go create your great life. Much love to all of you. Aloha.